Hi there, everyone. I just want to make sure you guys can all hear me okay. I had to call in on my phone, a little bit of trouble with my headset this morning. I'm Michelle. I'm the Civil Application Specialist here at Topcon Solutions, and I'm joined by David, as you can see in the webcam there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started into it. We went ahead and showed you our video and our website and our slideshow and everything, our YouTube page. I'm going to go ahead and get on into our agenda here. So a little bit about us here at Topcon Solutions. We'll talk about that in a moment. We're going to do a brief review on kind of how to start projects in our BIM 360 environment. I'll turn off my web camera now that you've seen who I am. We're going to be talking about what different types of files we can host up on the BIM 360 environment. We're going to be doing a civil tour real quick of our BIM 360 tab and how we can pull files down from BIM 360, and we can use that either by doing data references or expressing things. And we're also going to pull down some shape files. And we'll do a little bit of a review question to make sure that there's a good understanding of everything we discussed. We'll do a little bit more of David, I'll pass it on there at that point. He'll do some roles and permissions for us. He'll show us how to do some markups and create some issues within the BIM 360 environment. He's going to be pulling in timmed files into Revit if we've got enough time, and then we've got to make sure we've got the time permitting. It's kind of that if we run a little short or a little long, but we want to make sure we get to all of your questions after that. So a little bit about Topcon Solutions. Maybe one moment. Topcon Solutions is the retail arm of the Topcon Positioning Systems, which we are the world leader in construction layout, machine automation, and land survey products. Along with selling the complete portfolio of Topcon products, we are a platinum tier of the Autodesk Value Added Reseller, and Topcon Solutions is a platinum level Blue Beam partner with certified instructors on staff. We've got several different locations, 13 brick and mortar locations. We service 20 different states in Washington, D.C. And today, David and I will be your presenters. I'll be looking at the civil side of everything, and David, of course, will be getting into architectural. All right, let's go ahead and get on into it. So to start, if you're going to be doing anything within civil and the civil side of BIM 360 in the environment here, you do need to have access to BIM 360. So I'm in our Topcon Solutions account admin page. We went ahead and set up a project for ourselves this morning. So go admin for our Topcon Solutions. So we went ahead and added projects. Projects are pretty simple to add. We discussed this in our last webinar, so I'm not really going to focus too much on it, but you can create projects from scratch and you can kind of upload these project templates that you have. So within here, I created one today for our file type functionality, Civil 3D within BIM 360. I'm going to need access to the BIM 360 environment if I want to host my drawings up there, obviously. Also, within Civil, I need to make sure that I am in Civil 3D 2020 or greater. And the way I can find that out if I'm in the right versioning is I can just say about in my command line. And I can see right there I'm in 2020.3. Excellent. I also need the latest and greatest desktop connector. This is what pushes things up into the BIM environment for me. My coworkers and I like to joke around that it's kind of my wardrobe into Narnia. Just a window into that environment. So I go through this desktop connector in order to access my project. Alrighty. In here, we've just got a very simple project with myself and David, but I can add new members. The idea behind this webinar that we're doing today is that we're working with a planner. And that planner is going to put some shape files for us to use. I'm going to pull them down. I can create a topo surface off those shape files and then kick it out back to my architect. And this is really the beauty of BIM 360 is that we can all kind of share within, it doesn't matter what discipline we're in. I can work with an architect and I can work with a planner and so on and so forth. David's going to go ahead and get into roles and permissions a little bit later, but I can go ahead and add in Josh who's part of our organization, but for today we're pretending he's our planner. And I've added him. I can give him, oh, this is a different company. I can say, hey, I need to add you as a planner, but I don't have any planning roles in here right now, so I'm going to leave it alone, and we'll let David get into that here in a little bit. All right. So I've talked about accessing this BIM 360 environment, and for civil side of things, we mostly focused on document management. Give me one moment for it to load. There we are. Very easy to upload already existing files. I can drag and drop. Just give it a little bit of time, you know, with anything, depending on the size of your files, it may take a while. But this is the project that we had already set up, that's Civil 3D within BIM 360, and I have everything that I'm going to need for today. I can store all of my drawings in here. I've got my data shortcuts. I can put templates and shapefiles. But the beauty of this and the desktop connector is that on the AutoCAD Civil 3D 2020 Start tab, we've got this BIM 360 tab. And this allows me to just determine which, you know, organization I'm working in. I'm part of 10 projects right now for this organization. I'm looking at this file type functionality within Civil. It was created by me. But just like browsing through Internet Explorer, or sorry, my web browser here, Microsoft Explorer, I can just use that BIM tab to find my project. This is the desktop connector, bringing it down. And it's all stored in the cloud. So this is kind of just my line work for a project. I also have data shortcuts in here, and I can tell that it's accessing the BIM environment because I've got my cloud icon in here. I can come in and continue to open up additional files in here. Maybe I open up my topo drawing as well. And so we've already discussed how, you know, drawings, DWGs, can be stored up here. But the whole purpose of our webinar today is what different supported files do we have. And so while this is working in the background for me, we provided this web page. This is provided by the Autodesk Knowledge Network. I think this is super useful. I love the Autodesk Knowledge Network. But here are all the viewable files that I can put up on BIM 360. Obviously, we've got our DWGs in there. But we can put our PDFs. We can put our image files up there. We can put shape files. We can put all sorts of different file types up there. We've got a very complete list here of, you know, zipped files can be stored up there. Today, we're going to be focusing on shape files, which when David gets into it, he's going to be adding that role of the planner, which we can assign to Josh, and then limit what he has access to in here. But we'll give him the ability to put shape files up on BIM 360 for us to pull down. And so if we've already kind of been in works with him, we've got his curves, we've got proposed buildings, we've got some ponds, some sidewalks in here. I've got my topo drawing kind of opened up, and we've got a geo reference. The idea here is that we're going to come put in a shopping mall. We're calling it smart stuff. Okay. If I come in here to my XREF, you can see that I have XREF'd in a few things, all from the cloud. If I were to do more XREFs in here, I can come here, I browse to my Topcon Solutions page. Here's the project I'm in. All of my project files can get stored up here, but let's take a look at what we got. Currently, we're looking for just drawings, which I have in my CAD folder. But I've got my shape files that I can put up there as well, like we've discussed. I can do PDFs, I can do all my data shortcuts, and I can even store drawing templates up there. I'm gonna go back up a folder. All right. And that could be very useful to continue to have those DWT files stored up there as well. It's very easy once I've got the files up there to bring them down. I'm just going to open an empty drawing for myself real quick. If I do a map import, I'm going to go ahead and bring down one of those shape files that's been stored up on BIM. Very simple to use. We'll give it a second. But I'm just looking for this BIM 360. I already know that I'm part of this Topcon Solutions, which is through that BIM 360. But right here, I can find my project. It already knew where I was, project files. I'm part of the CAD team. I'm looking for shapefiles provided by my planner. And maybe I want to bring in all of my sidewalks, and I'll say okay. Let the import process begin. That is the desktop connector there flashing in the background, pulling those files down. And I can easily just come in and put it on that import layer. I'll just have it put it on its own P drawing layer. I'll map any of my data that I need to. I'll create object data. And I'll say okay. It just pulled down one object in 1 second, and I can zoom, extend. And we kept this pretty simple, but this would just be part of the project, or I'm sorry, my sidewalk here. I'll do it one more time for my building. There's my building shapefile, and this is my proposed building shapefile. I'll accept all of my defaults here, creating that object data, and I say okay. And there's that building pad, and I can go ahead and create, you know, I could save this drawing. Maybe this is another sheet in my plan set. We already kind of have it in here. There's that building pad that I created. Here's my sidewalk. As I said, we can have lots of different file types posted up there. Take us on over to David here.
All right, thank you, Shelley. Wait for this more. There it is. Okay. All right, so my name is David Campbell, and I'm going to start covering a lot of the roles, responsibilities, and some of the other things that we can do with our plan sets while they are in BIM 360 itself. So here I have a entry grade and a finished grade surface that Michelle has published up for me. And I also have a building plan, so my Revit model that I have imported the surface that she made for me and positioned my building on that surface. Okay, so I'll go ahead and move this to the side a little bit. There we go. I can get out of this. Now, this is a basic 3D model viewer. Whenever you click on these projects, whether it's a DWG, RVT, NWC, kind of what have you, you're going to be able to get in and view these different elements. Now, another important part to that is I can switch between, of course, the 2D and the 3D view. So if I needed to kind of scroll around, look at this, make sure there's my building pad there, so I have a nice indent of where I need to go. But if I need to, you'll notice that I have a nice, if I can move this down a little bit more, a nice little panel of tools here to the side. So these are for any markups that I may want to place on the drawing or document itself, further helping us to support the design review process or the engineering kind of review process. So in this sense, I can go ahead and maybe make a call out. I could say building pad, okay? Anything like that, I'm gonna cancel there. I hit escape too many times. I just escape happy this morning. But essentially, once you place that markup, you're gonna notice up above, you have a few different options, undo, redo, okay? But you're gonna see a little lock populate up right here. This is actually very important when you place markups on these documents, because what you're gonna notice right now is it says private. And you're gonna see a little globe right below that says published. If I choose to publish this and then save, this markup will populate for anyone who opens this document to see. If I leave it on private, I'm gonna be the only one to be able to see those markups on this document. So once I have it set to published, I hit save markup, and that markup is now stored in this view. Okay, so again, anybody else can get into this and talk about it. They can leave markups. We have a few different kinds. We can also take dimensions inside of this document. Now, another big thing I did want to talk about is going to be issues. So with issues, you're going to see the little exclamation point, a triangle here. You'll notice with markups, it's a great way to put data on the document or on the model itself, but it doesn't really give us any type of data to track, okay, or assign responsibility for this. So let's say that, you know, I may be one bigger building pad or my footprint is adjusted, anything like that. I can go ahead and create an issue for this. And then I can go ahead and specify what type of issue is this. Now, it knows in this sense that it is going to be a design issue, but I'm going to go ahead and place the issue somewhere on my document. So I'll go ahead and place it there. So I can call this a design issue, or I can say it's commissioning, it's clash, a coordination issue, building code, client feedback is probably what this one would be. We're going to ask for an adjustment on that building pad. Now, you'll also notice we have existing conditions, a requirement change, work to complete. There's a lot of different options for us to choose from in terms of the type of issue that this is. Now, the status, this is just meaning it's either open for everybody to see or it's a draft. A lot of times what I like doing is I will go through and create some of these issues as drafts and then kind of read through them afterwards to make sure everything is good to go before I send them out. But I'm just going to leave this one open. I can go ahead and name this. We're going to call this building pad adjustment. And then the beautiful thing about issues is we can choose who to assign responsibility for this. So I know that Shelly's going to actually take up modeling this. So I'm going to assign this to Michelle. And I'm going to go ahead and assign a due date of Monday. Like I want a response by Monday. That's what I want to know what's going on. You can have a location entered if you have certain areas on your site that are actually marked out or notated. You can go ahead and specify a specific location on your site. Enter any of the location details. And we will do southwest corner. The owner, so you can specify who is the owner of this issue. And then what is the root cause, whether this is a constructability issue, a design coordination, deficiency, code compliant, really anything like this. We can go ahead and say this is what is causing this issue, or what we need to do with this. And really the big thing about this is that it's tracking this issue and the root cause. It's gathering all of this information, and I'll go into that here in a minute. I'm going to go with planning on that. So the owner is asked to adjust the footprint. Once I go create, this issue has now been assigned. Shelly will go ahead and receive a email with a notification that she has been assigned this issue. So when she clicks on it, another great thing is there's not really much looking for the issue at that point, because when you click on it, it automatically takes you right to this document or model that you place the issue in, right where the issue was created. And you're also going to see they can click on it at any point in time, and it's going to go ahead and populate for them. Now, another great thing about this is you'll notice attachments and activity. I can attach any pictures, any supporting documents, specifications, anything like that that I need to go ahead and place with this issue, so everyone has a good understanding of what's going on. And as with anything that is in the industry, we like to track it, right? So we want to know what's going on with this. So with the activity, once Shelly jumps in and sees that this is an issue, she can go ahead and acknowledge it and say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get on making this adjustment. And then she goes ahead and adjusts it in the model. And basically what we'll see is that we can track all of that activity and see when she has finished it. And at that point, I'm going to go ahead and jump back out of here for a second. That's a good kind of segue right into versioning. So if she does happen to adjust this model and she saves it, you'll notice that V1 will change to V2, okay? Now, in saying that, I do want to kind of talk about this workflow really quick. If you do not want to save, you don't want to change that version every time that you hit the save button when you're in Civil, it's a good idea to go ahead and grab your desktop connector here and hit work offline. If you hit work offline and you save, it's not going to continuously update that version. You'll keep the same version until you're ready to go back online and update the version that everyone else is seeing inside of BIM 360. Now, before I jump into Revit, I did want to go ahead and cover the issues again really quick. You'll see right here on the home screen for BIM 360 document management, you're going to see the issues tab. This is another way for anyone involved in this project to go ahead and look for these issues. They can go ahead and filter or search for them, Also, they can export. So you can export any of these issues into a PDF or CSV or SLSX report and take that data down with you. So it's not stuck inside of BIM 360. And again, if we do have any things attached to it, we do have any comments on these issues, we can track that data as well. So I'm going to go back here into the folder, and I'm going to go back to CAD, Civil, or actually I'm going to go to Arch. And again, here are my models. One more thing I want to notate before I get into Revit and kind of show you guys how I can pull this in. You'll notice that I made markup, a markup, and created an issue on the finished grade document. Now, the attributes here inside of BIM 360, so all of your different columns on any of these models or folders that you click on, you're going to see that we can track the markups and that they have issues here. So it's going to show us what's going on there. Okay, and it's a really good kind of notifier. I guess it's a kind of flag for me when I'm going through and looking through all of my drawings and my models to make sure I'm up to date on everything. If I notice that there's a new markup or new issue on this document, I can go ahead, get in and check it out. Now, I almost forgot about the roles and permissions, so I'm going to go ahead and cover that real quick and then jump into Revit. So Shelley showed us a little bit earlier about adding new people into our projects or our account. So she added Josh into the account overall. Now, I'm going to go back into the account admin really quick, and it's going to ask me to sign in again. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. But when I get back into the account admin here, I'm going to jump straight into the roles tab, and you're going to see projects, members, companies. So I'm going to jump into roles. Now that Josh has been brought into the account, I want to assign him a role as a planner. And sometimes you're going to see that some of the roles that we have don't populate normally within BIM 360. So in this case, I do not have a current planning role inside of BIM 360. And before I go into that, I want to explain these roles really quick. A role is really just a position inside of BIM 360 that you want to specify what they can and cannot do within the modules themselves. So you're going to see here project admin, document management, and then we have some other modules such as project management, cost, field management, assets, model coordination, design collaboration, and insight. So what you're able to do is essentially by role, set up access into the other modules that we have available in BIM 360, or even what they can do inside of those modules. So if I want to bring in the planner here, I'm going to go ahead and type in planner, and then I'm going to hit add. When I hit add, you'll notice it brings it right up to the top here, and it just gives it basic member access to document management. At this time, if I needed them to go into design collaboration, I would just click on it and grant them member access. Now, you'll notice right now it's saying member or no access. That's what that's the only thing it's allowing me. It's doing that because I have not made them a project admin. If I wanted to make them a project admin, I would simply click admin, and then you'll see the yellow cog kind of populates here. Now, the only reason you want to make someone a project admin is if you want them to help run your project. If you just want to give somebody access to documents, to the models, give them the capability to mark up, create issues, things of that nature, they do not need to be a project admin. If you want them to create new subfolders, assign permissions, invite other individuals in, things like that, you will make them a project admin. Now, I do want to go ahead and notate this as well before I move back into the other side of BIM 360 here real quick. But when you bring members in under the account admin, you are essentially building your database for BIM 360 to pull from. So you're building a nice kind of bank of different members of companies and their roles, okay? You will need to do that first because when you go into the project admin tab, which you're not gonna see it here, I have to go back into projects. But when you go to the project admin and you go to create your projects, you're going to add members in, things of that nature, you will need to pull from that bank of members, companies, and roles. Okay, so each project will pull from this account admin kind of database. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the file type functionality again here. And I'm in. So at this point, Josh has been added in, and I should be able to go ahead and find him and add him as a project member. So I'll go ahead and select, and I'm just going to give him basic member access to this project and hit add to project. Okay. Now at this point, he has basic member access. Now again, I want to go back to document management and specify a little bit more on these permissions. Since I am a project admin, this is a big kind of portion of my job. So you're going to see that as I click on plans, as I click on project files or any folder below, we're going to have these 3 dots on the side populate. Now, the very important thing to kind of notate here is if you grab next to project files, you click on these 3 dots and you go down to permissions, you're going to set the permissions for not only this folder, but since it's a parent folder, you're going to associate those permissions with every folder underneath, okay? And in this sense, I could say permissions, I'm going to allow Josh, grab him, okay? And then I can set my permission level for view only, view download, upload only, view download, upload, that kind of stuff. So maybe I'll just go with view only and hit add, okay? And at that point, now I could go down into any of these other folders, and maybe I'll go into the CAD folder, and I'll go with permissions of this specific CAD folder. You'll notice Josh is already there, and guess what? It's inherited because it's from the project files. Now at this point, if I want to give him different access into this folder, so I do want to be able to, I want to give him access to view, download, and upload these models. I can go ahead and change it there to give him that access, okay? So at that point, he has the capability to view, download, and upload only in the CAD folder. So if I go back to permissions, and let's say I go up to number 5 here, in this folder, he will have view only capability. Okay, so it's a great way to kind of set an overall of what they can do in each folder and then what they can do in specific folders. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get back into Revit just really quick to show you guys this because I did wanna get into this. I do have the building plan here, but I'm gonna do this just like it's a brand new kind of model. And I'm gonna show you guys how I would typically pull in that surface. So well, I went open instead of new. So I'll go ahead and close back on that real quick. I'll go to new. And let's say I go with just a construction template. I would simply go insert, and then I'm gonna go with link topo. It's gonna bring up a nice little dialog box here. And what it's going to do is connect me to BIM 360 in this sense. So it already knows where I'm going here since I've already been here. And I'm going to grab that finished grade and I'm going to hit link. Once I link this model or this DWG into my Revit model here, another beautiful thing is as Shelly or anyone that works on that model, that you notice that I'm going to go ahead and just hit either align or position center to center, which I know currently I don't have this set up on the same coordinate system. So I would just do position center to center, and then I'll go into my 3D model, and there it is. So there's my surface. So as I was saying there a second ago, as things adjust inside of BIM 360, so as I go into CAD, I click on Arch. If Shelly were to update the versioning here, I could simply grab my link. So I go manage, I'll go manage links, find my topo, and here's where I can choose to reload that topo surface from this saved path. Now, you know, if anything happens and they maybe saved another model up there, anything like that, it's a simple reload from, and then I can go ahead, pull that new path down and have my nice updated surface here ready to place my building on. All right. Now, let me get back into this and I will go with a review question. Now, Actually, you know what? I think we've had quite a few review questions. Let's leave it open since we're kind of running short on time here to answer any of your guys' questions. Did anybody have any questions for us on any of these workflows with pulling data from Civil down into, you know, or from BIM 360 pushing data up, or anything of that nature?
No questions at this time for you, David. If there are any audio issues, hopefully you can hear me. I just want to say thank you for attending today. So we hope to see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day.